The W at this junction in time would be better without Caitlin Clark because she is a bigger distraction than she is an additive. Now people are watching. Now we realize, oh, there's talent in the W. Talent that's actually even greater than Caitlin Clark. And I'm not just talking about bigs like Asia. I'm talking about the Olivia Miles. I'm talking about the Paige Beckers. Hell, I'm talking about the Kelsey Mitchells. Caitlin got the necessary eyes there. But now that the eyes are there, we don't necessarily need her anymore.
Emmanuel Acko pissed off a lot of Caitlin Clark fans when he made these comments last week. But believe it or not, Emmanuel Acko is not wrong. Now, obviously, he is wrong when he claims that people are noticing the abundance of talent in the WNBA. Have you seen AJ Wilson? Have you seen Paige Buckner? Oh, my stars! These women are amazing! No, Manny. I have not seen Asia Wilson. I damn sure haven't seen Paige Beckers. You know who else hasn't seen them? The good people in Dallas, the good people in Las Vegas. Because neither one of these so-called stars can convince people to let go of $20 to watch them play. But I partially agree with Emmanuel Acko. The WNBA would be better off without Caitlin Clark, because it is abundantly clear at this point, this dump of a league is not ready for prime time. Headline at Fox News: Republican lawmakers press Kat Engelbert to protect the Great White Hope. What the hell are we doing? We have communists trying to take over New York City. We have Islamists working with communists trying to spread the religion of peace throughout America. And a group of Republican congressional leaders. They are wasting taxpayer dollars by writing a letter to Kathy Engelbert. Their biggest concern is the mistreatment of Caitlin Clark by jealous pretend basketball players. Our congressional leaders are wasting time, potentially launching an investigation into pretend basketball? What's next? Are we going to investigate the WWE? Are they going to investigate some doofus referee because he didn't stop some jobber like Barry Horowitz from getting his ass kicked in every match? He's a jobber. He's supposed to lose every match. Plus, it ain't real. It's make-believe. I don't know this for sure, but I'm wondering if recent comments from Kelsey Plum instigated this letter from Congress. You know, it's one thing for Caitlin Clark fans to complain about the mistreatment of straight white girls, which, by the way, do you guys remember Candace Wiggins? 10 years ago, the lovely Candace Wiggins retired from the WNBA at the old age of 29, the prime of her career. Why? Well, according to her, the culture in this dump of a league was toxic. 98% of players in this turd of a league are taking L's both on and off the court. They ostracized me because I'm attracted to masculinity. The culture in the WNBA is cancerous. You don't have to take my word for it. Listen to Kelsey Plum. Watch for yourself.
And then I don't think it helps being a 5'8" white girl coming into the league with 85% black women that want to take your head off.
Before we go any further, I just wanted to remind you guys again, I'll be heading out of town after this video. There will be no videos Friday and Saturday, but I should see you guys on Sunday afternoon. There is a growing narrative, mainly throughout the woke media, that Caitlin Clark is ruining the WNBA. And in their minds, from what they perceive the WNBA to be, they're not wrong. Caitlin Clark has ruined this league because she elevated this toxic turd into the mainstream before pretend basketball was ready to be a mainstream product. It doesn't matter how much polish you put on the WNBA turd. At the end of the day, it's still a stinky turd. The basketball in this league is unbelievably bad. To make matters worse, the vast majority of players in the WNBA, they really can't be marketed to a mainstream casual audience. A congressional investigation, that is not going to change the culture of the WNBA. It's not going to change how Caitlin Clark is treated by jealous players. If anything, it could make the treatment of Caitlin Clark significantly worse. Like I have been telling you guys for years. Hell, I was saying this 5 or 6 years ago before Emmanuel Akko knew the WNBA was still in existence. This is a league of activists, victims, and complainers. For years, WNBA players complained about the lack of mainstream attention. They claimed misogyny and toxic masculinity was the reason their league was a huge, embarrassing failure. We don't have enough games on national television. Our league isn't taken seriously because men refuse to watch our product. They are so blinded by misogyny, they can't see that our league is filled with unbelievable talent and huge stars. Caitlin Clark changed all that. Not only did Caitlin Clark deliver the mainstream attention that WNBA players desired, she also gave the league legitimacy. She delivered credibility to a product that has never been taken seriously. Problem is, the WNBA is not a legitimate product. Instead of the mainstream attention elevating the credibility of the league, the attention, it exposed the warts. The attention exposed the hairy boils growing on the ass of this product. The national audience quickly realized what Uncle KC and others have been saying for years. The on-court product in the WNBA is the drizzling shits. So Emmanuel Akko and his pretend friends in the mainstream media, they're right. Caitlin Clark unintentionally ruined the WNBA by exposing it. But once again, the media is putting the blame in the wrong place. Once again, they are blaming Caitlin Clark fans, or as the media prefers to call them, white people. They're blaming dudes like me who constantly highlight the problems in this league. Earlier this morning, I had some dude who claims to work at ESPN try to discredit me on Twitter. As you can see, he didn't dispute the point I was making. He insinuated I had no credibility because I have a blue check mark on Twitter. Ironically enough, this dude who refers to himself as Murph Dog, woof woof, Murph Dog writes for Anscape, which is the division of ESPN that is dedicated to mythical racism. So I guess it makes sense why he blindly defends the WNBA. He writes about make-believe racism, so makes sense that he is a fan of make-believe basketball. The misplaced blame. It is one of the many reasons you never see improvements in the WNBA. They can blame misogyny, they can blame toxic masculinity, they can blame Caitlin Clark and her fan base, they can run her out of the league, which is what they're trying to do, but the real problem in the WNBA is the players. My sister used to work at a bank. Keywords, used to. After working at the bank for a few years, she quit the bank to work in the office of a manufacturing facility, where she eventually became the CFO of the company. She went from working around women to working in manufacturing, where she is the only woman in the office. Why? Because most of the time, men can be easier to work with. At the bank, it was constant drama, constant pettiness. Susie was jealous of Katie because Katie got engaged to Prince Charming. Katie was jealous of Tammy because Tammy's husband bought her a new purse or a new scooter. Tammy was jealous of Becky because Becky got a 50-cent raise. Is this starting to sound familiar? You see, WNBA players wanted the benefits. They wanted the luxuries of being elevated into the mainstream, but they didn't want the consequences, and they wanted to be the star of the show. They didn't want some white girl from Iowa to be the face of their league. They didn't want a 29-year-old Candace Wiggins who was married to toxic masculinity to steal their spotlight. They didn't want a beautiful Kelsey Plum taking away their attention. They want to pick and choose the media that covers the league, and they want to pick and choose their audience. Questions about two players on the same team who are dating each other? Not allowed. Asking why the average WNBA player struggles to dribble the ball while walking at the same time? No bueno. Asking why AJ Wilson, who the media claims is the face of the league, same with Paige Beckers, asking why they can't sell out games at home when tickets are cheaper than Ethiopian breadcrumbs, asking why AJ Wilson couldn't sell $30 tickets to the WNBA finals? No mas. Criticism is not allowed. The WNBA goes out of their way to shield unknown players from criticism. Meanwhile, they refuse to protect their only star, and their pretend friends in the media accuse Caitlin Clark of ruining their league. Why are we always talking about Caitlin Clark? The constant narratives, the politics, the arguments, it's taking away from the WNBA product. Can't we just get back to talking about pretend basketball? Yeah, you can go back to focusing on pretend basketball, but in order to do that, you have to sacrifice the mainstream exposure. Because the mainstream audience does not care about pretend basketball. They don't care about a low-scoring game between the Golden State Vikings and the Washington Mythicals, where a supposed professional basketball team couldn't score 50 points in 40 minutes. They don't care about Paige Beckers, who's a great basketball player, but she's got the charisma of a facial wart. They don't care about Natasha Cloud. They don't care about Cam Brink and the trauma of her white guilt. The mainstream casual audience cares about Caitlin Clark. Same Caitlin Clark that you claim is ruining your league. When the reality is, Caitlin Clark is trying to elevate your league, but the WNBA isn't ready, and I don't think the WNBA will ever be ready for prime time. Sound off in the comments below. I'll see you guys on Sunday.